Hi, today I'm going to show you how to make winter squash soup. Now, I'm going to use this big, hard grinded winter squash. There's a lot of varieties, but if you work with these little pie pumpkins, pumpkins are technically winter squash. So they're used when the seeds are mature and when the rind is hard, and they're usually preserved over winter at room temperature. There's all sorts of varieties of these. They're all edible. They all make really good soup. They also make good pies. But I'm going to chop into this one and start dicing it up. Okay, the chickens love these seeds and all of this inner stuff, but this thick rind, that's what we're going to use for our soup. I'm actually using a pumpkin carving spoon, but you could use any sturdy, big metal spoon. And there's that nice dark orange interior flesh that we're going to get away from the skin to make into soup. And we need to dice this up and get a couple cups, maybe 3 cups. Rough chop. In addition to our winter squash or pumpkin, I'm going to chop up a big carrot, a whole white onion, yellow onion, sweet onion, whatever you want, and some fresh garlic. Again, just a rough chop. Now, after that's sauteed for a few minutes, I'm going to increase the moisture by using some of the stock or some of the tomatoes that I'm going to be using for the soup anyway. Now, this is turkey stock that I made. I have other videos showing how to do that. This is from Thanksgiving turkey. And I'm just going to add a little splash and keep the lid on until those veggies are nice and soft. So it's been about 10 or 15 minutes, medium heat, and look, it's just turning into soft, beautiful squash. I'm gonna let this cool and then puree it as finely as I can. I've transferred the veggies into the blender, and now I'm adding my home canned tomatoes. Puree. Alright, I've got the pureed vegetables back in the pot. Now I'm going to add the remainder of my quart jar of stock. And then I've got some kale from my garden, some curly kale, optional. And I'm going to add these dehydrated honey mushrooms from my homestead and let those soak up all those good flavors. Now for a little texture, I'm actually going to use green pigeon peas. I've used black beans, I've used black-eyed peas, purple hull peas, fresh that I grew, but it's middle of winter. I'm just going to use these pigeon peas. And then some heavy cream. Now I've heard people use cream cheese, but I'm just going to do a little heavy cream. And then cumin. I've got some allspice. Now this is my homemade serrano salt. So I smoke the serrano peppers, dehydrate them, pulverize them, then add them to basically regular salt. That's going to be my main source of heat, spicy heat, and saltiness. Then some black pepper. I'm going to bring this up to a simmer and just let it slow cook. Alright, we've been simmering for a while, maybe about 45 minutes. And if you find that it's too thick, then you can always thin it out with more broth or water or cream. If you find that it's too thin, you can actually add instant mashed potatoes. Kind of a little secret. Now, if it's not sweet enough, you could add a little honey. This is from my beehives. So just a little bit of some honey. And basically from here, you can add whatever flavorings you would like. So if you want some oregano, some basil, some lime, if you want more cinnamon, if you want, well, one thing that I like to do is the basil flowers. All right, I'm serving mine with a little homemade bread and some green onions and my little flowers of the basil plant and some homemade Ghost chili pepper hot sauce. Mmm. So good.